Hi, I'm Chad. What's your name?
Cassidy.
Cassidy,
Can I do
pleasure.
a quick interview with you?
Of course.
Awesome. Okay, well, I'm with Kodak tonight, so we would love to speak to the actors and directors about what do you love most about film?
Oh my God, it's the experience that film gives you. To me, it's like a great steak versus, everyday, hamburger Hamlet. I don't know.
But In-N-Out's pretty good, so I'm just kidding.
In-N-Out's pretty good, but imagine if they upped it to a filet, right?
Yes.
No, overall, film just gives you a fully immersive experience. I feel I'm emotionally more connected to film or to movies when it's shot on film. It always has. I think it increases the level of everybody's game when you're on set. You have far less room for mistake and error. So rehearsal plays a big part into it, so everyone can really fine-tune the performance before you go to shoot. The cell phones aren't buzzing and ringing. People just don't make a lot of the mistakes that you see when you're shooting digital.
Because it's more sacred, right? The film takes longer and it costs more.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the difference between hardcover, softcover. There's something about holding a hardcover that just feels, I don't know, the smell of the pages. It's when you're flipping through an iPad reading a book, it's a completely different experience than when you're holding the pages and smelling the paper, right? And for me, visually, you can't recreate film. People are trying, they really are. And they do a decent job, but it's not where film is. It's not.
Wow, that's such a beautiful celebration of film. And then tonight, especially coming out on Oscar weekend, how did you get involved with Kodak originally?
Oh my God. I'm from Buffalo, New York, so one of their facilities is in Rochester.
Ah.
So it was actually one of my first modeling gigs back in the day. Shout out to Kodak.
What was the client? Kodak?
It was Kodak. Okay. It was like $400. It was like, for me, I was like 14 years old. It was like, all right. It was like one of my first gigs ever when I was living in Buffalo, New York. But
I didn't know that. That's a great tidbit.
It's a little piece of information.
Does Steve know that?
Steve knows.
Okay.
Steve knows. He probably forgot because he's got so much going on. But I have told Steve one time. So I know the Rochester facility. I've been there. And I shot a movie called Outlaws and Angels. J.T. Molnar directed. We were in Sundance 2 years ago, and we shot on film. And the film would not have been what it was and the full immersive experience that we all had as a cast and as a unit if it wasn't shot on film. Everybody brought their A game, and it was just one of those just completely creative environments that everyone just raised everyone's potential, and film was a large reason for it. And it just told the story far more beautifully than I think we ever would have done on digital.
Yes. So I have to say, you are of my generation, the age in which I was growing up watching your content, and a lot of the stars now that are coming out of social media and YouTube, I don't know who any of them are, but anyone that's my age, if I said I was interviewing John Michael Murray, would probably have a heart attack. Do you still, what does it make you laugh, when you go out? I think it's that age group of kids that we were kind of the last hurrah before social media. So it was a very different time. But I do remember, the J14s and those magazines. What does that mean? Obviously,
Good old Bop Magazine. I think I pulled a picture out of Bop Magazine the other day and I put it on social media.
But that's the fun thing. I think it brings back a sense of nostalgia, and it's definitely something that, I'm 28, so anyone that was my age and older, if you're, born in 95, you'd have no idea. But, do you have a sense of humor over it? What does it mean to you to look back now?
I don't necessarily... I love where I came from, and I love
it too.
Pre-social media.
That's why I love it.
It's interesting because I always wonder what if. Imagine if One Tree Hill and Dawson's and all these shows that I was a part of back then, if social media was around during that time, I can't even imagine what it would have been like to have an account for myself back then.
Exactly.
It would have been... I definitely would have screwed my life up, guarantee, without a doubt. Because I would have posted stupid stuff. There's no way I couldn't have. I was young and living my life, and I can understand it's hard at that age to make great decisions when there's so many eyes on you, right?
Exactly.
So it would have been a completely different experience. I'm glad that I didn't have it. I'm glad that people weren't... In the beginning, it wasn't camera phones, and then camera phones came pretty quickly.
When those came out...
That changed the world.
We sound old.
It changed.
I love it.
I know. It's true. It's true. The new generation, you see these people and you go, who is this? And you see 4.8 million followers. And you're saying,
I had a Kodak throwaway camera. So when I would go to things at 14, 15, you would develop...
Reel.
Oh, yeah. You remember those.
Roll through it. take it and going, oh, is there anything I don't want the guy at Rite Aid to see?
Exactly.
Don't remember my face, you know?
Exactly.
I do, and I remember. And the other thing that I think we did more is now that we have phones, it's funny, my family, my wife, and our 2 kids, we never take group photos. But when you had an old camera, you would hand it off to somebody and say, hey, get a family photo. I never do that with my iPhone. It's always 2 shots, selfie, or 2. Oh, wait, it has a self-timer?
Yeah, they have it on there.
Old.
Built-in.
Old. I didn't know that. You have to show me how to use that.
How old are your kids? Your dad life.
2.5. Yeah, 2.5, and our daughter is 11 months.
Oh, you're Papa now.
It's the greatest thing in the whole wide world. This is our date night. We got out of the house.
Oh, I love that. It's a good excuse to go. And then last question: do you have something coming out with Minka Kelly?
I do. We shot
Okay.
a movie, Minka Kelly, and in Savannah.
Savannah.
Beautiful Savannah. I love Savannah.
People love shooting in Georgia.
There was just something so surreal, you know, the way that the moss hangs off the trees and the energy there. They love Halloween. We were there during Halloween, and how much they really go and they party around that holiday. It was crazy. We got the 2 kids, so we're just watching from our window, watching all the stuff going on in the streets. But Savannah was a dream. Movie's called The Beach House.
Okay.
And it was one of those, like, I got a phone call from a buddy, and a great producing buddy, and he said, hey, what do you think? You want to come out and play around, drive a boat? I said, yeah, okay, let's do it.
I'll have to check it out.
It's based on a best-selling book of the name of The Beach House, Mary Alice Monroe wrote. And being in the world now of fiction, having a novel come out myself in November, I had known Mary Alice's work because she's also friends with my co-writer, Heather Graham, and so it was a whole small world, and yeah, we ran out.
Heather Graham is your co-writer?
Don't be confused with the actress.
Okay, because I was like...
I know.
Okay, awesome.
No, Heather Graham's like 200 and some odd novels and novellas.
So you write a lot.
I do, yeah.
Okay, anything else we should look up? You have a lot going on.
It's been really, really busy. Something with very soon. That's all I'll say. I can't say something with this very soon.
Okay.
Announcement coming soon, but I'm not at liberty to say just yet.
Okay, we don't want any NDAs to be broken.
It's really,
but, okay.
but some very cool things on the horizon, and just, you know, all part of wanting to tell great stories and to tell them on the best medium, in my opinion, that you can. And you know, that's the world I like being a part of. And having kids, really, you want to make them proud. So storytelling is a good way to do that, whether it's children's books, novels, film, writing, however you want to get it out there, telling stories that mean something to you and your kids will be able to grow up watching.
Well, I have to say, I think you're one of the true people that's been able to transition a very early start into something with longevity, which says a lot. So
I'm blessed every day to get up in the morning and go to work. We have a very cool job.
We do. Thank you so much.
Such a
Appreciate
pleasure.
it. Yeah, it was such a pleasure. Thank you.
Cheers.